The NASCAR Xfinity Series race is officially concluded from Watkins Glen, and Connor Zilisch puts up a dominating clinic and picks up his first career win in Xfinity in his first ever start. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Xfinity Series race in Watkins Glen, the Mission 200 at the Glen. We have quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So let's begin by talking about the winner, Connor Zilisch. Connor Zilisch not only dominated this race, but he put up an amazing clinic throughout the whole entire event. He won the pole by about 2 or 3 tenths of a second. He, before the pit stops, was 4 or 5 seconds ahead of drivers like Ty Gibbs and Justin Allgaier, 2 established drivers who've won on road courses, by the way. He was just pulling away. By the end of stage number 1, Connor Zilisch had pulled out to a near 10-second lead over second place. I believe the time was Chandler Smith. He would come off the corner and win stage number 1. But then they decided to come down pit road at the start of stage number 2, so they had to work through the traffic a little bit. Connor started moving his way up through the field. By the end of stage number 2, they were back up front, and they were running in 3rd or 4th position as chaos kind of started ensuing between that time, and Connor was in 3rd at the end of stage number 2, I believe, at that point. However, Connor Zilisch, Sam Mayer, and Ty Gibbs, who were in the top 3 positions at the time about halfway through the race, they would get a penalty. Regardless if there's caution or green, you cannot go straight through the bus stop. You're supposed to go through that carousel area. If you don't go through that carousel area at the bus stop, you will get a penalty, and they had to go to the tail end of the longest line. Now, they all decided to come down pit road with 43 laps to go in this race. That changed things up a little bit. Guys like AJ Allmendinger, Shane Van Gisbergen, we'll talk about here in just a second. Those guys would have to start at the up front, while at those guys that came down pit road would be starting around 20th or 21st position. On the restart, we saw some really good racing up front, and then eventually the leaders up front came down pit road, and Shane Van Gisbergen got the race lead with about 34 to 33 to go. He would lead for about 10 laps, and then eventually with about 25 laps to go in this race, Shane Van Gisbergen was able to pass and was able to come down pit road with about 20 laps to go. Shane was about 20 seconds ahead. He would have been inside the top 15. He gets the speeding penalty with about 20 laps to go and falls about 45 to 48 seconds back. Now, he's able to make up a couple positions and move himself up inside the top 20. Meanwhile, Connor Zilisch would assume control of this race and started pulling away from Sheldon Creed. And it looked like Connor Zilisch was going to cruise to victory. All of a sudden, with 4 laps or 5 laps to go in the race, Matt DiBenedetto, I believe, has a failure on the car, like an engine failure, and comes to a stop in the bus stop. NASCAR has no choice. They throw the caution. This turned this race into complete chaos and complete craziness. On the ensuing restart, a big wreck ensues. Connor gets a great restart, and chaos ensues behind. Brandon Jones, I think, gets hit. Drivers like Josh Williams, Austin Hill crashed behind. Anthony Alfredo crashes. I believe Mike Skinner, Austin Green had crashed at that point, and that would throw out the caution. And because Anthony Alfredo had a ton of oil coming off the back of his car, NASCAR had to throw the red flag for nearly 30 minutes. In my opinion, they need to penalize drivers for bringing it back to pit road. If you've got oil on the car, stop the car. There's no reason you should be driving back along the racetrack, because that wasted 30 minutes of the race that should not have been wasted. Then we got back racing once again, and chaos ensued again. Connor Zilisch got another fantastic and great restart and was able to clear for the lead. Going up to the bus stop, more chaos ensued. Brandon Jones got turned by somebody going into the bus stop, and Mike Skeen had nowhere to go and ran into the back of him, bringing out the caution once again. And then we were all worrying, was Connor Zilisch going to make it on gas? Was someone like SVG or Chandler Smith, who had enough gas, going to go to victory lane? On the ensuing restart, Connor Zilisch got a fantastic and great restart and was able to clear for the race lead. Yes, some really great racing behind the leaders. Behind Connor Zilisch had a really good lead, started pulling away, but started saving fuel. You had a really great battle for second between Sheldon Creed, Shane Van Gisbergen, AJ Allmendinger, and Chandler Smith. They all trailed the battle back and forth very, very hard, and they put on a great show. And coming to the white flag of the race, the big one would ensue. Drivers like Ryan Sieg, I believe Brandon Jones, and a couple other drivers ended up crashing on the last lap. Austin Green, Brendan Poole were also involved in the wreck. We saw also Cole Custer spin and Justin Allgaier end up spinning, but it wouldn't matter at the end, as under the caution, Connor Zilisch would end up coming off the final corner in his NASCAR Xfinity Series debut at just the age of 18 years old. He comes off the final corner and picks up his first career NASCAR Xfinity Series win in his first ever start. Connor Zilisch not only won this race, he completely dominated. He had the best car by a mile, and he absolutely earned this win. He was the best car all day. That 88 car was lights out all afternoon. I knew he was going to have a shot at winning this race. I didn't think it was going to dominate. He was at times half a second faster than the rest of the field. I was worried, though, he was going to run out of gas at the end. Luckily, he was able to have enough gas. I'm so happy for Connor. The sky's high for him. I think in the next couple years, you're going to see him in a Cup Series car. I wouldn't be shocked or surprised because we know Project 91 might be coming back at some point next year, even this year. If I'm Justin Morris, I'm fielding Project 91 car at the Charlotte Rumble because that was just absolute pure domination. I cannot wait for next year, and I'm thinking the next few years he's going to be a Cup Series driver. I wouldn't be shocked by 2026 if he's full-time. He absolutely earned it. It was domination. Congratulations to Connor Zilisch on picking up his first career Xfinity win on his first ever start. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the race results, and I'll talk about the overall race as a whole. So Connor Zilisch picks up the victory. Sheldon Creed finished his second. So close to getting it done for Sheldon Creed once again. His 12th runner-up finish still holds the record for that. He wasn't going to beat Connor Zilisch at the end of the day, but a great day for Sheldon. Got a lot of points. I believe he's now locked into the playoffs as well. Great day for Sheldon. He finishes second. AJ Allmendinger finished third. He struggled on the long run, especially. It seemed like the call cars were not as fast today, which is a little odd considering AJ has been really good at Watkins Glen in the past. Still a good points day, though, nonetheless. He's also locked into the playoffs. He finishes third. Great job for AJ Allmendinger. Chandler Smith finishes fourth. For guys who really struggled on road courses in the Xfinity Series the last 2 years, this is probably the best road course race he's put on. He generally had a top 5 car majority of the day. I think they had an issue on the car at one point, and they still come back and finish in the top 5. Great run for Chandler Smith. Shane Van Gisbergen finishes 5th. SVG was my pick coming into weekend to win. They just didn't have the car under them to go to victory. Unfortunately, they were complaining about water temps early in the day. They actually started at the rear of the field. They progressively moved up to the front. It's still a really good day for Shane nonetheless. I wish it was a win for him, but he still gets top 5. His top 5 streak on road course is still really good. He still got a lot of points today as well. A good run, but not the run I think all of us were expecting. He finishes in 5th. Ross Chastain finishes 6th. Solid day for Ross Chastain. He was outside the top 20 majority of the race, but all the attrition at the end put him up inside the top 10 and 6th. Good run for Ross Chastain. Parker Kligerman finished 7th. They had, I think they lost 3rd or 4th gear at one point in this race, and they still come out to finish in the top 10. A really solid day for Parker Kligerman. Telling you, it's unfortunate he's retiring full-time racing at the end of the year, but I think he could win before the end of the year. A good day for Parker. He finished 7th. Jesse Love finished 8th. Quiet top 10 run majority of the day was running entertained for age most of the day. Had enough gas at the end. He finishes 8th. Joey Logano finishes 9th. For a car that barely made it into this race, very impressive for Logano to get another top 10. That's the second top 10, I believe, this year for the AM Racing organization. It's just a never give up mentality. Haley Deegan couldn't do that, so good to see Logano get a top 10 in 9th. And Josh Bilicki somehow gets a 10th place finish. Good day for Josh Bilicki in 10th. Austin Green gets another top 15. I know he crashed at the end of the race and the results might be changing as I'm talking, but he does get a top 15. Solid day for him. William Byron finished 12th. He led a ton of the race early. Unfortunately, got caught up in some of the incidents at the end. They also had a tire issue with about 20 laps to go. He finishes in 12th. Riley Hurts finishes in 13th. Parker Reslap finished 14th. Brian Ellis gets the top 15 and 15th. Lee Hunterman finished 16th. Justin Allgaier, who spun near the end of the race, he finishes in 17th with a top 20 run. Allgaier had a really good car early, but then he had that issue with Mike Skeen in the gravel trap that cost him a shot, a great run. He finished 17th. Jeremy Clements finishes 18th. Sammy Smith finishes 19th. They were having multiple issues on the car throughout the day, and he still somehow comes out with a top 20 finish in 19th. Solid run for him. And Sam Mayer had one of the strongest cars, ran out of gas near the end of the race, and finished 20th. I thought he was going to have a shot at beating Connor at the end. He had a fast car today, just unfortunately finish doesn't show for it. He finished 20th. Cole Custer also got spun near the end of the race, was running in the top 10 majority of the day. He finished 21st. Ryan Seek finished 22nd. Brendan Poole finished 23rd. Ed Jones finished 24th. Ty Gibbs, who ran out of gas and brought out the final caution, or second last caution today, he finished 25th. Eric Almirola was having multiple mechanical gremlins. He finished 26th. From what I've seen, he'll be running the final 7 races in the 20 car, so good to see Eric Almirola back. He had a top 10 car early, but they were having mechanical gremlins. He finished 26th. R.C. Anderson finished 27th. Brandon Jones finished 28th. Thomas Annunziata actually originally got out of the car because of heat issues, tough situation. I'm glad to see that Thomas is all right after getting out of the car. He finished 29th. We saw Joey Gase replace him at the end. Mike Skeen finished 30th. Jeb Burr finished 31st. Josh Williams finished 32nd. Austin Hill finishes 33rd. Anthony Alfredo finishes 34th. Matt DiBenedetto finished 35th. Alon Day finished 36th. Kyle Seek finished 37th. And finishing last in 38th place is Kyle Weatherman. So now we're going to talk about the overall race as a whole, and I'll give my score and thoughts on today's race. Honestly, I just want to talk about the innings of this race. I thought the first half of this race was pretty solid in my opinion. There was some good racing up front, had some great battles, but a lot of times it was just Connor Zilisch completely dominating. But you had the intrigue of if these guys were going to make it on gas or if these guys were going to run out of fuel. And it looked like it was going to turn to that. But it seems like every time we go to a road course nowadays, and not just in the Xfinity Series, but the Cup Series as well, these races turn into complete bloodbaths and turn into complete shit shows. And it's been very frustrating to watch. I am not going to sit here and say that we should go back to having no overtimes, but I feel like there has to be a limit at some point with the overtimes. I would not mind going back to 1 or 2 overtimes or something like that, or just these drivers learning to get some etiquette. The etiquette at the end of these races has been very, very frustrating to watch, and so many good cars that shouldn't have been taken out of these races are being taken out, whether it's guys running out of gas or drivers doing stupid stuff on the racetrack. It's just like Nashville when you had Kyle Busch crash and Kyle Larson and those guys have problems. And Bubba Wallace have issues at points as well. It's been turning into bloodbaths in these overtimes, and it's got to get better. The etiquette in Xfinity racing at road courses, when they're not wrecking, it's fantastic. But it's turned into chaos in the last short time, and it's got to change going forward. So because of that, originally I was going to give this race probably 8.5 out of 10, but because of the ending of this race, I'm dropping the score down to a 6.5 out of 10. I think it was pretty good until the ending of the race. It was just completely stupidity, a complete chaos and stuff that should not happen. I'm giving today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race overall a 6.5 out of 10. So that is going to be it for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race review from Watkins Glen. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support on Patreon as well. List description below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's race. Your thoughts on today's race, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and congratulate Connor Zilisch on picking up the win in his first ever start. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Later tonight on the channel, we're going to see a Shane Van Gisbergen video talking about his performance at Watkins Glen, or the lack of performance and points, unfortunately. Tomorrow, you're going to see the starting lineup video for Watkins Glen, and you'll see a NASCAR Cup review and probably an SVG video as well. Monday, there's going to be a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. We're also going to have some other content dropping this week. There might be a little small silly season update or something like that dropping this week. And also, Truck Series race pick for Bristol are coming out on Tuesday as well. Got a lot of great content dropping this week, as I can't wait for you guys to check it out. So anyways, like I said, and one thing guys watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.